I'm The.Racing.Doctor, and this is Season 1, Episode 2 of Chronicles of The.Racing.Doctor. Before we start talking about this ride, I want to talk a little bit about Houston, or H-Town, or Clutch City, or Space City. We are the home of NASA. We have the largest oil and gas industry in the country based out of Houston. We have the largest medical center in the world. There is more scientific medical research done in this city than anywhere else in the world. So Houston has a lot to offer. And Houston also has like 5 million people in it, and the place is massive. It takes 1 hour to get from one side of Houston to the other side of Houston, and this is without any traffic. You try and do that same drive at 5 o'clock, it'll take you 3 hours. It's crazy. What's interesting about Houston is you get out of suburbia and out of town and go an hour north, you end up in this beautiful place. This is the Sam Houston National Forest. This is one of 4 national forests in the state. It's comprised of 163,037 acres. There are 9 miles of mountain bike trails out here, 85 miles of dirt bike trails, and it's also the home to the Lone Star hiking trail that's 129 miles. So the place is absolutely massive. And there's a ton of dirt roads out here that's awesome for gravel riding. As we take a look at this route, this is called the 4-notch ride on Ride with GPS. A lot of people in the groups and forums online call it the mullet. I like this topo view here from Relive. That app is really cool as to how they lay everything out and give it to you. I really like that they have the elevation changes at the top so you can see where you're at and what your climbing is. Here is a layout of the course. There's 2,167 feet of climbing. It's kind of all over the place with where the climbs are. It's really undulated out here, but it's really cool as well. Oh, I missed a turn right there. You weren't supposed to see that. This ride was 50-ish plus miles when I came out here on the 2nd of whenever that was, March. The kiddo was out of town. My wife was also out of town, so I just came out to the forest to just ride my bike and really check it out. Most of the time when I come out here, it's drive into the parking lot, get ready as fast as I can, get the bike ready as fast as I can, get on the bike, ride, and then load everything up and head home as quickly as possible because it is kind of a trek out here from my house in the Heights. You don't want to come ride for 50, 60 miles and have a 2-hour commute as well. Kind of eats away an entire Saturday. And I need to spend time with my family because I love them. With not having anyone to go home to, I decided to come out here and just kind of explore around, which I really haven't done before. So my pace was really slow. I came out here with a ton of food, ton of water. I had 2 750 ml water bottles in the cages. I also had my USWE Outlander Pro Hydro Pack with me as well, so I had plenty of hydration. I had 2,500 to 3,000 calories with me, so I was very prepared to be out here all day long. Most of the forest looks just like this, and most of this ride looks just like this. A little bit of slope, some descent, and then there's a tiny little rise out in front, and it's just up and down, and you're surrounded by the woods. So it's really kind of cool as far as videos go and making things for YouTube, not super interesting. So that made it kind of difficult to present this ride because it is not super interesting, but this is one of my favorite places to come ride my bike, and Race Ready Repair does a race out here every fall, and it's a ton of fun, and the place is beautiful and gorgeous and so different from the concrete jungle that I live in Houston. But this is a discovery ride, right? So as I'm riding along, I've been past this Forest Glen sign, I don't know how many dozens of times, and decide that I'm gonna poke my head in here and see what this place actually is. My wife and I have been talking about coming camping out here, getting a cabin somewhere outside of town for a weekend. And apparently, this is a campground and a resort. So I'm gonna go check it out and see what this place is all about, what they have to offer, what their rates are, and see if maybe we can come out here one weekend and have some family time. And I get to ride my bike out here, which would be super rad for me, right? The driveway into the park is really long, so I cut out quite a bit of it to get to this part right here, right before we get into the entrance of it. So there's like this little bridge thing with tubes in it that kind of lets water go from one way to the other. But this over here has got this awesome little pedestrian bridge, and then it opens into this gorgeous body of water on the other side. I had no idea any of this was back here. What you learn on a discovery ride, right? So it looks like there's camping all through here and all over the water as well. So you can camp like up against the water. The GoPro really didn't show where the campsites were over there. I didn't think to like zoom in or anything because of where I have the camera mounted underneath my Garmin on the bike. So I come up to this building, which I think is a registration building. There was a sign over there to the left that I can't read. I didn't even notice it when I rolled in here. But I saw the golf cart, saw the little house, and I think, hey, I'm going to go in here and talk to somebody and get some more information on this place. So I park the bike and jump off and then head inside. I wish I had have taken the GoPro with me inside, because on the back side of the building, they have a spectacular view of the little lake and the campground. It's stunningly beautiful. There's a huge back porch. So I walk on in here, and there is nobody home. The doors are all unlocked. The lights are all turned off. All the office doors are open. But there is literally nobody in here. There's nobody to talk to. It was the weirdest thing. I did, however, find the restroom. I took care of some business, and then came out and thought somebody maybe had come back, and nope, that was not the case. So I guess I'm going to have to do some internet research to find out some more about this Forest Glen campground, but I doubt I'll actually do that. But what I do want to do is get back on my bike and go ride some more. I am always on the lookout for animals and people. Like, I've been chased by dogs more times than I care to count. So as I was coming down the hill to turn left into this place, I'm gonna slow way down and really take a look around, because there was a dude walking a dog, and I didn't know if the dog was on a leash or not. And I'm not in any mood to get chased by a dog. It is never ever fun. So there's no dog here, no dude here, no idea where they went. I have started carrying pepper spray with me though. I got chased down by a dog once that scared the absolute crap out of me. He didn't get to me, but man, was he close. So I carry pepper spray, and you can take that stuff out of your pocket, hold it way down low, and just give it a little zap, and it will deter anything from continuing to chase you. In Texas, we don't have to worry about bears or, large vicious animals like that, but we do have a bunch of dogs, which sucks being chased by any animal. Every time I get chased, I think about the cinematic masterpiece American Flyer. If you're a cyclist and you don't know about this movie, you should look it up and watch it. It is Kevin Costner. It's in the 80s. He's a bike racer. It is awesome. One of the scenes in the movie, he and the other protagonist go ride sprints with Eddie. And Eddie is this massive, super aggressive, very, very fast pit bull. And he steals the other protagonist, I cannot remember that actor's name, he steals his shoe. And it is hilarious. And that's what I think of every time I get chased, or that I'm gonna get knocked off and the dog is gonna eat my face off. So I can still smell the remnants of this fire. It's crazy. I don't know when the forest caught on fire. I haven't been out here in 8 or 9 months. But wow. It is way burned up back in there. Crazy. I don't know how much caught on fire. So these Forest Service roads serve a couple of different purposes. So you can see that the left half is not burnt up at all. So these roads are cut to keep the fire from jumping from one part of the forest to the other. But that is gnarly. So seeing this fire out here was pretty spectacular, but spectacular in a bad way, not in a good way. I don't know how much of the forest burned up. I didn't see anything when I looked online to see when the forest caught fire. There was a controlled burn out in Huntsville, which is the north end of the forest, back in October, I guess. And Sam Houston National Forest was just covered in smoke. It was really, really kind of spooky when I drove out there and then rode out there in it, because you could see the smoke on the dirt roads. You could smell it. It was really kind of spooky. Now, transitioning into this section of this route here, this is my least favorite part of this entire ride. It sucks. It's super deep sand. It's super sketchy. And I do not like riding it at all. There's no clear path. There's no clean line. I actually record this section on the way back because it's an out and back for this part. and I have some pretty colorful commentary for everyone on the other side of this as I write it backwards. So I'm gonna skip this section for now, and we will see this on the return trip. This is the halfway point for this ride. This is a city called Point Blank, and Texas is known for its ridiculous names of cities. We've got places like Bacon, Noodle, Oatmeal, Bug Thistle, Nameless, Cut and Shoot, and my all-time personal favorite, Jot 'em Down. But this is Point Blank, and I wonder, what do you have to do to have the name of your town be Point Blank, Texas? Did somebody out here get shot at point blank range? Because that's the only thing that I can think of. The way the story goes is there was a French woman from Alabama who worked as a governess for a local family and named the town Blanc Point in 1850, but somewhere down the road they changed it to Point Blank. Thank you, interwebs, for that information. In my stop in the bustling metropolis of Point Blank, Texas, I pull over on the side of the road and change the battery in the GoPro. I've already changed it here, and we are back off again and riding. What I failed to realize when I grabbed the battery for the GoPro is I grabbed the OG battery instead of one of the endurance batteries. So I literally only have like an hour of film time left and 2.5 hours in this ride, because Point Blank is almost the exact halfway point for this ride. I've said it before and I will say it again. You are only as good as you are prepared, and if you're not prepared, you're not any good. So I don't feel as though this video is going to be all that great, because I literally run out of film about 20-ish minutes before the ride's actually over, and the ride into the parking lot is actually kind of cool. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to deliver that to anyone on this particular ride because I was unprepared with the wrong battery for the GoPro. So that's where I'm at. Leaving the metropolis of Point Blank and turning here onto Highway 156, this road does have one of two categorized climbs, at least according to Garmin and Strava, on this ride. It's not very long. It's not very steep, but it is a climb nonetheless. You can kind of see it in front of us here going up this hill after the bridge. I'm not a climber. I'm not a very good climber because I don't have a whole lot of hills to climb. This is literally the closest thing we have to a hill in Houston. But it does get the heart rate up and makes you work. Living in Austin and riding road bikes there for most of my riding career and racing career. I had a friend there that I worked in a bicycle shop with who called hills nature's intervals, and I've always loved that. So here is the one interval that nature provides on this particular ride. I felt pretty good through most of this climb, that's for sure. One thing I wish I could figure out how to do is to go back and look at the climbs on Garmin or Strava. Like, when you start out on this climb, my Garmin goes, climb detected ahead, and this climb is like 247 feet at 7%. But I would love to be able to go back and look at that information and that data again to see how long it took me to do the climb. And did I climb this faster or slower than I did last time? I think it would be cool to be able to access that information. I cannot figure it out. If you know out there in YouTube land how to do this, please comment and let me know how, because I would love to find this information. I ease off the pedals here a little bit because I can hear a very large pack of motorcycles behind me. The hill continues at this right-hand turn that I have to make, but I want to get all the motorcycles on video. I used to ride Harleys, I used to work on Harleys, I used to build motorcycles in a previous life. And there goes the trike, so you know that you're at the back of the pack, because trikes and trash always go to the back. This is the last little bit of this climb here. I'm not trying to break any Strava records or catch any PRs. I've given up on that dream because I wanted to show the motorcycles to the viewers and, the 9 people that follow me on YouTube and my mom. But one thing I will always do, when I see somebody on the side of the road, I will always ask them, are you okay? Do you have everything you need? How can I help you? And this particular individual is no different.
You okay? You got everything you need? Oh, okay.
I have no idea what this guy just said. This ride was a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember our conversation for that part of this. We do talk a little bit and ride together for a while, and it's this gentleman's 70th birthday or 72nd birthday, and he's doing his birthday ride. He's out smashing around 70 miles out here in the Sam Houston National Forest. We're kind of on the outskirts of the forest now, as you can see. But this individual was rather entertaining to ride with for a little bit, and then it got super scary to ride with him for a little bit. So he's on an old, 2012, 2011 Specialized Crux that's probably a little bit too big for him. He's got flat pedals on it. His pedals are actually plastic. He's wearing soft-soled, Skechers sneakers. And I gotta hand it to the guy. To try and ride that many miles in basically gym clothes and cross-trainer sneakers, that's absurd. There's no way I would try and do that. And it doesn't look like the dude had any food with him either. But we had a pretty interesting conversation nonetheless. One thing I can say about this GoPro is the microphone in this thing is not all that great. I've tried playing with the sound levels quite a bit so we could have the conversation on the video. It just does not pick up. I know there are aftermarket microphones out there for these things. Maybe I'll consider getting one. But yeah, check this out. So here he comes. You can kind of see what he's on here. It's an aluminum frame Crux. The rear seat stays have got that weird zerts fitting in it. I think that's what they called that back in the mid 2000s. And he doesn't have a whole lot of food on him, but he's literally riding in a pair of soft-soled Skechers and plastic flat pedals. There's no way I would consider doing 70 miles with what this guy is riding on. This is where it gets kind of sketchy because this dude tries to avoid every little change in surface as we're riding across this asphalt. You can see it's been patched, repaired, and this guy is just all over the road. Right before we get to this car, he makes this crazy weird left, right. Yeah, there it is. And I thought he was gonna crash because he had full on speed wobble going on, and we're going maybe 12, 13 miles an hour here. And I just can't with this guy. I am so afraid to go down now. I used to not fear crashing at all. Riding mountain bikes, I used to say, if you're not crashing, you're not riding fast enough. I don't live by that anymore. I have a full-time job. I'm a parent. I'm a husband. I need to function. I just came off of 4 months of rehab and recovery from a shattered clavicle. I can't do that shit again. So the fear of crashing is real within my body and my brain now, in this point in my life. And I say goodbye to this guy, thank him for riding with me for a bit, and we cruise on.
Oh, time for lunch, huh, baby?
I'm not gonna lie, I have a habit of talking to the wildlife while I'm out on rides. I felt like that group of cows wanted to have a conversation, so I gave them a little moo. Here is the Sketchfest portion of this ride. This season, I'm running IRC Boken 42 millimeter tires with orange sealed tubeless setup, and a pure gravel really hooked it up with this. This does really good through this section, but to be fast and not be sketchy, you really should ride a fat bike tire.
This is so fucking sketchy. Like, there is no good line through this. Like, the back of the bike just wants to be faster than the front of the bike. So much work to get through this section. Like, I'm barely moving, and my heart rate when we go through this sand pops to like 180. Not gonna lie, like I'm a little gun shy going through these sections too. It's because the last time I went through a sketchy section of a course, racing cross, I crashed and shattered my clavicle. So I'm not gonna say I'm not a little hesitant to like go full gas through some of this, just because I don't want to fucking crash again. That shit sucks. I think I'm through the worst of it though. As soon as we get to this tree line up here, it gets to better gravel. Get out of this god-awful sketchy sand. And it's crazy because I've probably done 1,000 miles out here in the national forest, and Like this section is either like this, super sandy, because they haven't had a whole lot of moisture, or it's just total washboard and you just get chattered all the way through it. So I don't know which I prefer, sketchy sand or washboard. Thank God that's over.
My priorities over the past 10 years have really changed with my riding and racing. I used to ride by the idea of leave it all out there, even to the detriment of your body, and just go for it. I can't do that anymore. I have a successful practice that I need to be in. I can't afford to take 3 months off because of a fracture again. And my wife told me that if I injure myself and end up on medical leave, she will leave me and kick me out of the house. So I can't do that anymore. But I still love to ride and race recreationally. I have no thoughts of grandeur that I will ever get to Unbound and be able to keep up and compete with like Keegan or Andrew or Payson and be a part of that group. But, you know, I still love to ride and race my bike. I'm a competitor. I'm competitive at heart. And, you know, I find peace in racing my bicycle. So we're riding through that section of the forest that was burned up. This is a different view from it on the return trip. And like you can see how just cooked and torched and burned up everything is, especially in the underbrush. And then how the pine trees are burnt on the bottoms but not on the top. So this fire wasn't like super bad, but it could have been real bad, especially if it had jumped the road and caught the field on the right side on fire and just scorched pretty much everything out here. But seeing this and smelling it and riding through it is really kind of eerie. This is the last couple of miles that I got on video for this ride out at the Sam Houston National Forest because, as I mentioned previously, I put the wrong battery in the GoPro. But this is my absolute favorite place to ride in Southeast Houston. It's stunningly beautiful. It's an hour outside of Houston where I live, and it's a great place to come and ride. Get out of the concrete jungle, get away from the traffic, and come out here where there's not a whole lot of people to contend with. You will see a few cyclists, but it's an awesome place to come ride. This particular ride is the Four Notch Loop. It starts at Four Notch camping parking area and goes all the way out to Point Blank and back with a couple of little loops in there and a couple of climbs, which is awesome. This is one of my favorite rides out here. if you are ever in the Houston area or Southeast Texas and want to ride the Sam Houston National Forest, hit me up and I will go with you. This was a bachelor weekend for me, so I wasn't trying to get out here, ride as fast and as hard as I could so I could get back home to my family. The wife and kiddo were out of town, so this was just a leisure ride for me. I didn't have a training plan associated with this. I did need to turn my legs over and put some base miles on as the season ramps up in April and May for me. But this was a ton of fun to just come out here and ride my bike. I absolutely love it out here. And the fact that this place is only an hour from my house in Houston proper, that I can go from the concrete jungle in a city of 5 million people to out here in the forest where I saw maybe 10 people was pretty freaking cool. And that's part of the reason why I love it out here. The GoPro dies about 5 minutes after this, and I'm about 2 miles from the car here. But I didn't want to show this part because, rocking that Allele Factory team kit. Shout out to Allele. Again, excited to race with you guys this year. And Pure Gravel, you guys hook it up with the IRC Boken 42mm tires and the orange sealed setup. Absolutely loving that, especially in that super shitty sand. And the feed, you guys are keeping me fueled through the entirety of the 2024 season, so I appreciate that. And the wife, the kiddo, I love that you guys allow me to do what it is that I want to do and support me in ways that I don't think I deserve sometimes. So absolutely love the fams. And this is the end of this. I'm gonna come back over here to the bike, a few ounces lighter, hop back on and ride to the car. And again, like I said, if you guys are ever out here and want to ride, hit me up. I will go with you. This place is awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that subscribe button, click the like. I would greatly appreciate it. If you would like to make a financial contribution to The Racing Doctor and to the Chronicles of The Racing Doctor, in the comments section below, you can find a link to buy me a coffee. Or you can just go to buymeacoffee.com, put in The.Racing.Doctor, just like on my YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate financial donations to help bring you this awesome content. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm The Racing Doctor. I will see you guys on the flip side. And don't forget to go get gravel dirty.